Hey everybody, Jillian here for Illustrated Faith's Print and Pray Shop to bring you a brand new Bible journaling process video. For today's entry, I'm going to be in Philippians chapter 1, verse 21, and I'm just looking here to see if it's on the left page because I already have an entry on the right, and whew, fortunately it's on the left, so we're all good to go. So I'm going to be using Brave Little Tailor's Surrendered and Set Free sets. I'm showing you here, this is where the verse is located. So this beautiful alphabet set is called the Surrendered Alpha. It's sold individually on its own, and it's just Taylor's beautiful handwriting in all different fonts and shapes and sizes, so cute. These are two of the Elements pages from the Surrendered and Set Free journal kit. There's actually some devotional content that goes with this that I didn't print, but ignore that those washi strips on the right. Those are actually from Shauna Klingerman's set. I had to get a little creative in Photoshop this week to make the most of my printer paper printing. And then I'm showing you here the Surrendered and Set Free journal cards also, which I'll be using today. So just wanted to give you a peek at what Brave Little Tailor so beautifully designed for the Print and Pray shop this month. First, I'm going to start by cutting down this this journal card that says to live as Christ. That's the verse I'm journaling today, Philippians 1:21, and actually journaling verse 22 because that's going to be part of my title. So the verse, this is Paul speaking, and he says, "For to me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain. If I am going to go on living in the body, this will mean fruitful labor for me. Yet which shall I choose? I do not know." And then verse 23 says, "I am torn between the two. I desire to depart and be with Christ, which is better by far." Verse 24 says, "But it is more necessary for you that I remain in the body." So I'll come back to that later, but that's the section I'm journaling in. So here I pulled out a Heidi Swapp stencil, a couple colors of distress inks, and some ink blending tools. And I color matched these earlier using Mowed Lawn and Worn Lipstick. And I forgot here to tape my stencil down, so it got a little wobbly. I'm just going to use some washi tape here to tape that down to my Bible mat and the Bible page, and then in a circular motion pick up the ink from the ink pad onto the blending tool and then just go over the stencil, and voila, a beautiful polka dot appears on my page. So to clean the stencil, I'm just going to use a baby wipe to get up the ink, and then I put it straight down on my page to do the pink portion, and it was wet. So you can see I have a little bit of some wet green residue. No big deal, I'm going to cover it up with tons of things. I use a different little foam applicator for each color generally, so the pinks have their own one, the greens have their own one, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to repeat the exact same process, cleaning it off and then letting that dry, putting it to the side. So I just wanted to create a backdrop for my page, and then I will go to Taylor's alphabet and start from there. So in verse 22, Paul says, "If I am to go on living in the body, this will mean fruitful labor for me." And when I studied this verse, that was what jumped out to me, and that's the title for my page today. So I'm going to use the Surrendered Alpha and then just cut out the letters for the word labor, being sure to choose a different color for each letter, and I actually will go and switch one of them up. There are about 5 colors included in this kit, so it worked out perfectly. Now I printed mine on the AVERY 8665 clear sticker paper. You certainly don't need to fussy cut these if you do the same, but since I'm going to be putting them so closely together, I didn't want any of the excess sticker paper to overlap, and so that's why I'm going in and cutting it a bit closer. And you'll see here I'm going to go ahead and choose a different B because I wanted one that was more yellow than orange. When I read this verse and decided that that's what I wanted to journal, I actually was prompted by that journal card that I had written a quote on up there in the top right. When I looked to see what that meant, because this is a super popular verse. I mean, it's on like coffee mugs and t-shirts, and it's all over the place. But I really wanted to look into what it meant. And so a couple commentators said it this way, that everything we do should point to Christ, to glorify Jesus and to make him known. So that means proclaiming the gospel of Christ, imitating his example, pursuing knowledge of him and in a relationship with him, being willing to give up anything that prevents us from having him, and having him as our chief desire, our main focus. So, whoa, that's a tall order, right? So when I was journaling this, I was like, this isn't like a one and done, okay, I journaled this verse, now I can go on. And so I talk about this on the blog if you guys want to check it out at illustratedfaith.com/blog, where I go more into this. But Bible journaling, for me, one of the benefits I've realized over the last couple of years is this accountability that is kind of built in, right? Because we're not just supposed to be painters of the word, but doers of the word. And for me to journal such a loaded verse, to live as Christ, to have him be at the center of everything that I do, and to be pointing to him and telling others about him, and every opportunity that I get, I share a little story of how I've seen Bible journaling play a great role in accountability in my life over on the blog. So I'd encourage you guys to go over and check that out. So I decided to use this little unicycle. At this point, I was thinking I was going to try and get as many of my notes on my page as possible, but that is just not going to happen with this huge unicycle. So you'll see how I incorporate that towards the end of the video. I'm just getting my title down here with enough space between it and the unicycle to get my journaling down. Then I'm going to use some different alpha stickers here. These are from Kelly Perky. And I'm also going to use the Illustrated Faith Tiny Colorful Alphas just to mix it up a little bit. I wanted something super small, and these fortunately matched the colors of this month's releases. So even though I have a unicycle on my page, I'll go ahead and put a tandem bike one last place toward the end of the video, because it is by no means an individual effort for me to live in a way that points to Christ. It is 100% without a doubt only by the power of the Holy Spirit in me, right? Refining us and making us look more like Christ every day. So for my journaling, I'm just going to get kind of like the main point down. Just this reminder that everything I should do should point to Christ and make him known. And then there's a little bit of space left in there, so I'm just going to use the roller date it stamp from Illustrated Faith to stamp down remember and today's date. I don't know why I stamped it twice. It looks really messy. I wish I hadn't done that, but no big deal. So now I have the main elements on my page. I'm going to go back to Taylor set here and see what else I want to pull out. I had thought about using this little white flower. It's so cute, and I don't have much of this color red on my page, so I want to be sure to use that. It's printed on clear sticker paper, and I wish it was on white cardstock, so no big deal. I'm just going to use a little scrap of white cardstock from the border of her journal card page, put the sticker down, and then trim off the excess paper, and that's it. So just a little tip for you. Now I want to layer this little flower underneath some washi, and I really love all of the blues that are popping out on my page, so I'm going to use this really cute blue gingham washi strip, and then I'm going to cut out a little bit of the bikes. I love that she made the bikes into a little washi strip. So to give this that look of having a torn edge, I'm going to wiggle my scissors so it looks like it was torn by hand, because it is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to tear sticker paper, at least this one. And then I left it hanging over the top a bit, so I turn the page over and just trim off the excess. Super simple, and here's where I'm gonna put that tandem bike. Decisions, decisions. So I used this Faber-Castell brush pen in Dark Naples Ochre to highlight my verse, and then I decided to put a few crosses around the page just to bring a little more yellow in. Super simple. And then I'm just noting there that I want something down at the bottom, and I'm thinking I want it to be pink. I originally thought maybe I should bring the stencil back out, but decided against that, and instead I'm just going to use the pink gingham washi on the bottom. Same thing, wiggling the scissors to make it look as if it's torn. and just using a little bit. So then I went to the words sticker book and I thought I could use some wordfetti on the bottom here, and I am embarrassed to show you how many times I put a color down and then picked it back up to switch it out for something else. So I'm not going to show you that. Let's just say it was more than 3 times. In the end, I decided to go with this phrase that says, because Jesus. Because we don't need any other reason other than this beautiful, innocent man laid down his life for you and me and took it back up again, defeating death, taking our sin in the process so that we could have a new life in him. And we need no other reason. So I thought that was the perfect way to top off the page. So the last thing that I'm going to do is get down all of the journaling that I wanted to include on the back of this journal card, and what I'll do is just clip it in with a paper clip once I'm ready to be done with this page and close my Bible up. And that's it. Super simple, just going to use a white paper clip to top that off. And that's going to do it for me. So here's a finished look at my entry along with a couple of close-ups so you can see some of that detail. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are interested in picking up Brave Little Tailor Surrendered and Set Free Journal Kit, I've got it linked in the video description below along with the other supplies that I used today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you soon.